Imagine this. It's the year 793. You're a peaceful monk living on the coast of England. Suddenly, the sky darkens, the ocean churns, and on the horizon, sleek wooden ships with dragon heads appear. Moments later, chaos descends. Welcome to the Viking Age, one of the most dramatic and transformative periods in European history. For the next 40 minutes, we'll journey through the Viking invasions, exploring why they happened, what they achieved, and how they changed Europe forever. The Viking Age officially began in 793 with the infamous raid on the monastery of Lindisfarne in Northumbria, England. Lindisfarne was a center of learning and religion, but for the Norse raiders, it was an easy target filled with treasure and undefended monks. This raid shocked the Christian world. But what drove the Vikings to leave their homes in Scandinavia and attack? It wasn't just greed. Scandinavia's harsh climate and limited farmland pushed people to look elsewhere. Combine that with advances in shipbuilding, and the stage was set for expansion. The term Viking comes from the Old Norse word vikingur, meaning pirate or raider. But Vikings were more than just raiders. They were farmers, traders, explorers, and settlers from Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Their society was built around strong clan loyalties, a warrior ethos, and a belief in Norse gods like Odin and Thor. Think of the Vikings as complex. They weren't just mindless pillagers, they were also master navigators, skilled artisans, and ambitious explorers who reached as far as North America and the Middle East. In the early years, Viking raids were small-scale and seasonal. They targeted coastal monasteries and towns, striking quickly and retreating before local forces could respond. Their longships were key. They were fast, shallow, and versatile, allowing them to navigate rivers and even cross oceans. For example, the raid on Paris in 845 was legendary. A fleet of around 120 Viking ships sailed up the Seine River, laying siege to the city. They left only after the Franks paid them a massive ransom of 7,000 pounds of silver. By the mid-9th century, Viking activity escalated. A coalition of Norse forces, known as the Great Heathen Army, invaded England in 865. Led by legendary figures like Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson, they sought more than just plunder. They wanted land to settle. The Vikings captured major cities, including York, which became the capital of a Norse kingdom in England. They clashed with Anglo-Saxon kings like Alfred the Great, who famously held them off and eventually negotiated a division of territory known as the Danelaw. The Vikings weren't just active in England. In Ireland, they founded cities like Dublin. In Scotland, they dominated the Orkney and Shetland Islands. They raided as far south as Spain and the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, Swedish Vikings, known as the Varangians, expanded eastward, establishing trade routes to Byzantium and founding the Kiev and Rus state. It's fascinating to think how far their influence reached. Vikings even served as elite guards for the Byzantine emperors, the famous Varangian Guard. By the late 10th century, Viking power began to wane. Scandinavian kingdoms became more centralized and Christianized, shifting their focus to internal governance rather than raiding. The Viking Age is said to have ended in 1066 after the Battle of Stamford Bridge, where the English defeated King Harald Hardrada's invasion force. Hardrada's death marked the end of large-scale Viking invasions. Ironically, just weeks later, the Normans, descendants of earlier Viking settlers in France, conquered England at the Battle of Hastings. The Vikings left an enduring legacy. They shaped the languages, laws, and cultures of the regions they touched. Words like sky, anger, and window in English come from Old Norse, and their mythologies, like tales of Valhalla and Ragnarok, continue to inspire popular culture. Whether you see them as ruthless raiders or bold explorers, the Vikings were a driving force of change in medieval Europe. Their impact is still felt today in ways you might not even realize. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the Viking Age. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more videos. Until next time, keep exploring.